Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
If you really want to be one of the best brewers there is,
I stopped dressing all in plastic.
You better be brewing 5 to 6 times a week.
Every beer is made with love, and it begs to be appreciated.
I need something to kill the salmonella I'm kind of worried about in the eggs.
Do you find that that the hops kind of clash with the chicken embryo you put in there?
I might sleep here tonight.
It's a California King. There's plenty of room for both of us, Beavis.
How many of the brewers over there have seen your ass?
That's it. Someone's getting cut tonight.
All I have to say is, hey, McDowell, how you doing?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to The Session. My name's Justin Crosley. I'm your host tonight. The first time in weeks. Back in the studio. Happy to be here. Happy to see you, Tasty and JP.
Yeah.
Hi.
Glad you're back.
It's been a while. I made it.
Yeah, I see. Everything in one piece, including your transportation?
Yeah, the RV did pretty damn good,
Pretty
actually.
good, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, no major mishaps. Like a cabinet almost fell off.
Just some minor ones?
Yeah, I put that back.
All right, good. It's road tested now.
Yeah, it did fine. And it didn't even leak all that much, so that was nice.
All that much?
Yeah. It was a good time. Today's show is brought to you by the fine folks at More Beer. They sponsor this session and every session that we bring. And they've teamed up with the great John Palmer to make 27 beer kits based on the recipes found in Brewing Classic Styles, written by both Palmer and Jamil Zainasheff. These kits are true to style and are all within BJCP guidelines, and enabling them to be easily entered into that upcoming competition. So buy 2 kits and get fast and free shipping from More Beer. Go to morebeer.com and check them out. Yeah, it was a pretty epic road trip, man. Went from here to the Homebrew Con, which of course y'all were at. Had our big anniversary party.
That was a great party.
From there, I went up into across Washington and up into British Columbia. Got in a fight with the customs agents on the way back.
Attaboy.
I mean, they were being dicks.
Of course they were. I'm sure it had nothing to do with anything else other than their attitudes towards you at that specific moment.
That's what it was. They were dicks. And then If I was completely like 110% certain that they wouldn't find anything in the RV, I would have been an even bigger dick back. But I was only a partial dick because the RV's been to Burning Man 3 times, and you just never know
somebody could have a station there that their dog can find, but you don't even know it's there.
Exactly. Oh, for sure. Or like a baggie might have broken on a staple in a cabinet, and then you're boned.
That's what I'm saying.
You're thinking on your feet there, bro.
Because I was sitting there going, "Fuck these guys." They were, and if I just felt 110% innocent, I don't care if they kept me there all day. I didn't like their attitude. But yeah, I just thought there might be that one
good move.
that 11%. Man, there's a show on Netflix called like Border Security Patrol or whatever, and essentially it's a reality show about that shit.
Okay.
The Canadian American border. And people come over all the time, and literally 9 times out of 10, they don't find shit. They tear people's cars apart because they find shake.
Right.
And then they go and interview the dude. I was watching this one episode last night. They interviewed this dude about his prior drug use.
Okay.
And he's like, I mean, I smoke pot like a couple times a week, like not a big deal. And then he like grows some, but it's legal where he is, but he was coming into the States.
Right.
And they barred him. A lifetime ban for his drug use
in the past. Wow.
And he's like, it's never been a big deal. He's like, well, it's an issue now, and we can't tolerate that in the States. It's just it's like, dude, he had a little shake in his floor.
Right.
Like, come on.
So it wasn't for possession. It was because he admitted he used.
Right.
Wow.
Because he was honest.
I don't want your kind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Going into Canada was a piece of cake.
Canada doesn't give a shit.
But the guy, laughing and joking. You know, he asked a couple questions, and then he's like, you know, do you have any guns in the vehicle? And I was like, no, sir. And he goes,
did you flex and just say just these?
I said, no, sir. And he goes, okay, where are your guns now then? Because every American has guns.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm laughing, and then he cracks a smile, and you know, I didn't get a stamp on my passport. He's like, oh, we don't stamp passports. And
right.
I'm like, oh, but I like stamps. And he's like, all right, well, hand it over. I'll give you a stamp. Nicest guy in the world. Coming back. Oh, boy.
That's so nice.
The whole fucking thing.
He was probably nice to you to soften the blow that he knew was coming with your inevitable return home.
And it's always that way, especially at that particular border crossing. Although I do always have a French guy with me when I'm coming back, who's not from Canada, and then obviously not from the U.S. And I think that's how it usually starts. Like, oh, now we have to go talk to you because you
have a French national with no return ticket.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's all fine. None of that bothers me. It's once you get in there, they're just dicks about the whole thing. You know, there's all families in there, nice Canadian I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way, and then I mouthed off like one time, and then they're like, all right, well, do you have any produce in the car? And I'm like, yeah, there's like a fucking tomato in there. And they're like, okay, we're going to go search it. Do you have any drugs in there? No. What do you have in there? A bunch of beer. How much beer? I don't know. A bunch of beer. Look, go find it yourself.
Right. You're going to go in there whatever I tell you. 4 cans or a brewery. You're going to go in there anyway. So just go in there.
Do you know what they came back with? A tomato.
Okay. No beer?
Being honest, the beer is fine. Came back with the one. Speaking of tomatoes, we're talking to Imperfect Produce today. My tomato was not perfect, but it had probably been in there for 2 weeks at that time.
Mm-hmm. That's just right enough for me, dude.
I bought it in the U.S., by the way. Took it into Canada. They didn't care.
No.
I was bringing it back to the U.S.
Well, Canada is not necessarily like the tomato growing hub of Northern America,
right.
So they
but
don't
I'm just
care.
saying, like, I was bringing back agriculture to its rightful home.
Returning the one ring to the mountain.
Actually, that's not true because I wasn't driving back to Mexico. I was just bringing it back to where I bought it from.
Yeah. You don't even buy California-grown produce, man. Wow.
But they So I go in, and we're in the line, and it's a long line.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go back outside to smoke a cigarette.
Right.
And while I'm out there, the lady monitoring the parking lot is like, you can't be out here. You have to wait inside. And I was like, really? Because I'm just like waiting. Like, I got a long time. I can finish this and the rest of my pack. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I didn't say all that, but I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, you got to go in. Well, there wasn't a garbage can or an ashtray around. There was like these big planters that didn't even have plants in them. They were like big ashtrays.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of other cigarettes in them.
Yeah.
So I didn't flick it on the ground. I put it out in the giant ashtray.
Very polite about it.
I go back inside, and I get in line, and we're not quite to the front yet, and the customs agent goes, you, come over here. I go over there, and my group starts to follow me. And he's like, none of you. I didn't ask for any of you. And they don't know. They're it's like you called me by name.
Yeah.
And we go over, and he's like, I need you to go outside right now and pick up that cigarette you put. That is a planter. It's not an ashtray.
We're growing cigarette butts.
And I'm like, okay. And I was like, do you want me to leave? Do you want me to come back? I want you to pick up your cigarette. No, I understand that, but then, like, do you want me to come back in here with the rest of my group, or like you want me to wait? And he's not being clear.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, go get it and come back. And now I'm angry, so I'm like, okay. Do you want me to pick up everybody else's cigarettes, too, while I'm out there? Because there's a little pile. I'll take them all. And at this point now, he's just staring at me. So I go.
Mm-hmm.
And I took them all. Because, they don't belong there.
Right.
I can play the game.
Yeah.
Come back in. Don't even talk to that guy. He sends me to somebody else. But now it's the search. It's the whole search.
Right.
And I'm fine with the search. But like I said, I needed it to be like a easy search, just in case. So I couldn't be a further dick. I just had to be like, yeah, I'll just search the car. I don't care.
Little soft search, dude.
You're going to find a tomato and some beer. And they came back and they found a tomato and some beer. So that's my experience coming back. Anyhow, then I spent the rest of the time, a bunch of time in Montana.
Yeah.
Don't visit Montana.
Okay. I never will. I hate that place anyway.
Thanks for that tip.
I don't even know if it exists, really.
Well, I'm actually protecting Montana. I don't want you to visit because you'll never want to leave. It's a wonderful, wonderful place on earth. Yeah. Boy, did I love being in Montana. I think I spent almost 2 weeks there. Went to a rodeo.
Oh.
Took the French kid to a rodeo.
Is it a rodeo?
No.
No? It's a rodeo?
Oh, yeah.
It's a 3-syllable word?
I took the French kid, and they're serious about their rodeos. Before the national anthem, they did they do a pre-national anthem.
Wow.
Which is like a very patriotic music bed, while the rodeo hostess talks about Old Glory.
Oh,
and
wow.
There's a flag ceremony and stuff, which is cool. You know, they're on the horses with the flag. But then she spends like a couple minutes about what this flag means to us and everything, which that's all fine and good. And then, of course, comes the time to stand for the...
Of course.
And these people were serious. So I look at the French kid, and I'm like, listen, I don't care what you think, or it's not your flag. You better fucking stand.
Yeah. Get up, Kaepernick. Let's go.
Because we are all going to get shot right now.
Oh, absolutely.
He's not going to accept us.
Oh, yeah. He stood up. He put the hand on his heart, and he sang it in French, I'm sure. That was the thing. But I saw a rodeo, hung out with the Phillipsburg Brewing Company people, got to go to Glacier National Park, which is now on fire. Not my fault. Glacier's great. Good national park. Got to go rafting. Went to a beer festival there in Glacier.
Man, you did it all, dude.
Yeah. From there, went down. I just spent a day in Yellowstone. Mm-hmm. You know why they call it Yellowstone? I am the dumbest person on earth.
Because I know, I don't.
There's a lot of Yellowstones.
That's right.
So there's the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
This is how stupid I am. I go through the whole park. Everything looks cool. I'm loving it. And I get to the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, which is, as you can imagine, it's like a Grand Canyon with like a river running through it.
It's a big canyon.
And it's all yellow. It's all Yellowstone. I'm standing there. Still took me 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, they don't just make these names up.
Could have been just like, Marigold Rock National Park.
Sulfur Dioxide Park.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I only spent the day there. A lot of tourists, but a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's like the earth is being invented in front of you. Or like, it feels very prehistoric. Mm-hmm. Everything's bubbling. There's mud and bubbling over and the smell of sulfur. You're waiting for a pterodactyl to fly by.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
It's an active area.
It's very active.
Except for that pterodactyl. I don't know. He probably doesn't fly over too often.
Yeah, probably not that often, but that's how I felt.
I like how you wanted to leave because there were too many people doing what you were doing.
There were.
Which is exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
Man, God damn it, I hate everyone doing the same shit I'm trying to do. I'm going to leave and do something different.
Yeah.
Like drive home.
Right. Well, and there's all these side roads and stuff that I didn't get to take because you can't take the RV.
Yeah.
I took it on one. I shouldn't have.
That sounds familiar.
So it was kind of like that.
Okay.
That would have been cool because I think the main road that I had to take where you can see tons of beautiful things. It's like the tour bus route too. So every time you get off, there's 4 buses full of people there. It was still great. Drove through that, then made my way to Colorado and spent some time there. So I think almost 3,000 miles on the RV.
Wow, big trip.
Nothing broke. No tires popped.
Oh.
There was the cabinet thing, but I fixed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That little girl made it, and then I left her in Colorado.
On the side of the road. VIN number filed down.
Yeah.
Smoldering.
I got to bring her back after GABF. So that's where I've been. There is a video on Phillipsburg Brewing Company on the YouTube page. I did that. I've got another video coming of the whole trip where you'll get to see all of these places I'm talking about. And then I totally screwed up a third video that you'll never see. So it was amateur hour. All right. Today on the program, we've got Imperfect Produce. Ryan Holmes is with us, and we're going to learn about what Imperfect Produce does, and then we're going to learn about the collaborations that he's been doing with different breweries. So hang in there for that. Let me get to a couple of announcements for you. Announcements brought to you today by Drake's Brewing Company. Just released their Brightside Extra Brut IPA. So check that out. It's in kegs at different accounts and in 6-pack bottles. And they're one of the pioneers of that that new Brute IPA style. So check it out. Go to drinkdrakes.com. We got some new Brewing Network shows if you haven't heard about them. For those of you in the Spanish-speaking world or friends of.
Espanol.
Thank you.
The Spanish for Spanish.
Entre Cervezas. We released our first podcast. The second one should be coming out later this week, and that's geared at the Spanish-speaking world to help them learn about brewing just like we did.
I'm very interested. I know that.
The goal is kind of to be the brew strong of the Spanish-speaking world. So
Excellent.
kind of just take all the different topics and tear them down. And, so check that out and share it with your friends. Also, those of you pro brewers out there, we've got a new show on marketing. It's called Shine Runner Craft Marketing. Short segments, that one. You only need to spend 15-20 minutes at a time. But Mark Colburn is going through all the facets of getting your beer to market and how to get it into grocery stores and all the distribution marketing side that we've never talked about in depth here. So check out those two new podcasts on thebrewingnetwork.com. They're all in iTunes and the Google Play Store. All right, we got another beer festival coming up here.
Oh, my God, really?
Not just a beer festival. I don't know how the fuck I got roped into this one, but we're doing Concord Oktoberfest, the first ever Concord Oktoberfest right here in Todos Santos Park. Great. That's happening October 12th and 13th. It's a 2-day event, doing it Friday night and Saturday day. We're going to have a traditional German beer garden, but this time featuring craft beer. So, not all of the Polaner and the Hofbrauhaus and stuff you might find at every other Oktoberfest. We're going to our craft brew friends for their German beer styles. So I'm going to have 20-plus breweries in that tent. We've got live music. We've got a whole kids area. Half the park almost is going to be a kids area with rides and bouncy houses and a petting zoo and all kinds of different things. I'm still getting the whole list of all the children's things we're doing. Plus live music, plus German food galore. You know who I got confirmed to be there today?
Who?
DJ's Bistro.
I was hoping that, man. Attaboy.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ's Bistro is our favorite European place right here in Concord. They kill it.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do all schnitzel all day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of good
That's
food.
what the party should be called.
All schnitzel all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schnitzel Fest. Save the date, October 12th and 13th. We'll do some pre-sale tickets, but you'll be able to buy them the day of, too. And it's a family-friendly event, except for inside the beer tent. You'll have to be 21 or older to go into the beer tent. That's the only restriction. Other than that,
hell yeah, bro.
You can do whatever you want.
Get in the bouncy house. Launch some kids to the moon, man. Let's go.
Yeah. So it should be a good time. The first ever Concord Oktoberfest. All right. You can support us by doing your Amazon shopping. Just click the Amazon links on the homepage. That helps a lot. We appreciate everybody who does that. You can subscribe and join the BN Army for as little as $2 a month. You can support us. Plus, you're entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is a chance to win $100 to spend at More Beer. And we draw that name every single month and announce it via email. So if you're a current donor, make sure your email address is current in PayPal. All right, get updates and pictures and fun items over on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Send your feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. Do we have a Twitter game?
We do.
Twitter Games brought to you today by the Wine and Hop Shop. Go to wineandhop.com. They've been locally owned and operated in Wisconsin for over 40 years. Most items that they sell ship within 24 hours. And BN listeners get $8 flat rate shipping on orders under 25 pounds. Just enter BN shipping in the notes field of the shopping cart. Madison residents, order your homebrew supplies online at wineandhop.com and pick them up at Working Draft Beer Company. They're located on Wilson Street, right across from Central Park, and they waive the shipping and give you half off your first beer. That's a good deal. Picking up your homebrew supplies at the local pub. Go to wineandhop.com and check it out. What's our Twitter game?
Well, I don't know if you know this, Justin, but maybe you do. You keep tabs on us when you're out and about.
Yes.
You can't stop thinking about the Brewing Network, and I appreciate that.
I know everything.
Warren's been missing quite a lot of work.
Really?
Recently.
He hasn't been on the shows?
He hasn't been on the shows as often as I would like him. He's probably missed 3 shows.
I thought he quit his job or something.
He's doing some things. I don't know. But my query to the internet is, what is Warren hiding?
Okay.
What's he doing right now? Why is he missing so much damn work?
What's his side gig? Huh?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
The work's too damn high party or something. I don't know.
He was always so good about showing up. Something must be up.
That's what I'm thinking. I think either he's transitioning Into what? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe a chrysalis is forming. I don't know.
Sure.
But something's amiss.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's Warren been hiding?
Yeah.
That's our Twitter game.
Besides his chin, his weak chin.
Right. All right, let's do some feedback. Feedback's brought to you today by the Beer Law Center. Go to beerlawcenter.com. They can protect your trademark like they do mine, or they can do your TTB filings. TTB, right?
Sure.
Yeah, they can do all that stuff. Go to beerlawcenter.com.
Clearly.
All right, Rob writes in.
Hi, Rob.
Hello, Brewing Network. Been listening for about a half a year, but I caught up with about 3 years worth of episodes since I've started. Can't thank you guys enough for all the content, countless hours of entertainment, blah, blah, blah. Started listening and picked up homebrewing. Made a few batches. Some have been drinkable. I am, however, active duty military and move around a lot and have the wonderful opportunity of drinking beer from many different craft breweries. I highly recommend checking out a couple breweries from Oahu, Hawaii. So he says Beer Lab, Honolulu Beer Works, Stewbum, Stewbum and Stonewall.
Yeah.
Seems like a typo.
It seems like a weird vaudeville act. I'm Stewbum and I'm typo.
It does. And, of course, Maui Brewing, he says. I've heard you mention Maui Brewing in passing a few times. But anyway, there's other amazing beers. And I'm no longer living in Hawaii, and I've come to you for advice. So here's the crux of it. Boy, that was...
I should have edited that. My apologies.
Okay. I've come to you for advice on how to obtain beer from out of state when the current state I live in does not allow delivery of alcohol. I'd hate to be part of the beer trading, but I miss the beer that I used to drink. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated, and can't wait to hear your response. Your drunkly neighbor, Rob. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, there are services, but it sounds like your state doesn't
saying that they won't
allow even shipment of alcohol.
Right.
There's only 9 states that allow it.
Oh, is that right?
I guess.
It does seem fairly rare, actually, the whole shipment of alcohol
The
thing.
best way is to do some sort of sharing of beer. Like you get online and find somebody.
Yeah, you got to do the beer share.
Yeah.
Or at least have a private citizen.
Because they don't care where they'll ship it. So it's not a legal shipment, but they'll ship it.
Yeast samples.
Yes.
Yeah.
Experiment.
So I think you're saying I hate to get in on this beer share thing, but that's what you got to do.
So you got something to do.
Well, I mean, I think also if you maybe you can make friends on maybe our forum in a state that you want beer out of, and not necessarily do a beer trade because a lot of breweries poo-poo that, and you want to be part of the system. So maybe they'll buy it for you. You can PayPal them some money, and they'll buy you a beer and ship it. You don't need to worry about sharing or trading or doing anything weird like that. But
true.
Maybe you can, I don't know, make a friend, Rob. Jesus Christ.
Most people want to trade, though. If they're going to send you beer, you send them
that's
beer.
the incentive is to trade. You've got a beer in your area they can't get. They want to have.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he doesn't have shit.
Well, that's the problem. He's got to have some currency.
Yeah.
I worry that he's with the TTB, and this is a trap. This is entrapment.
We're
now
promoting it.
It's like, where was that?
Aiding and abetting illegal activity.
Yeah.
Where there was like the cops did a sting operation and left a semi-trailer open full of new shoes, like in the hood somewhere.
Yeah.
And arrested everybody who came in and grabbed shoes. It's like, well, first of all,
It's a lot of shoes right there.
What are you going to do with it?
Oh,
what do you
my God.
expect, man? I would take those shoes.
I would.
Hell yeah.
Everybody. It's a crime of opportunity.
Yeah, after the first theft, they didn't go, oh, okay, well, we better button it up. They just let it keep happening. It was a trap.
This is probably illegal and we shouldn't be entrapping everybody. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Drive across state lines, pick it up, get in beer share. We have one in our forum. There's a lot of other forums out there, too. I think that's the best way to do it. Or, enlist your military buddies who are flying around.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
I can't name names, but in the past, we've had a couple military pilots who were based out of our area, and every time they flew somewhere would bring us back beer from different places.
It's true.
So you probably have more access to getting beer than we do.
Yeah. And thank you for your service.
Yeah. Tap them taxpayer dollars, man.
Bro.
Right. All right. Todd writes in, hey, Brew Vengers. I want to thank you for the hours of fun, knowledge, and distraction while I ride my bike around the mean streets of Amsterdam selling beer. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, but have found myself here in the awesome city of Amsterdam after a brief stint in Oslo, Norway.
Oh, so people from Oregon moving into another area and artificially inflating the housing values. I get it. Go back to Oregon, scum.
Is that an Oregon thing?
The California.
Actually a California thing, but that's what they said about it.
Yeah.
Listening to the podcast has helped me stay motivated and somehow positive, despite JP's best efforts.
I'm trying.
About craft beer and working for a brewery, even while riding around in the wind and the rain, begging bars to buy my beer. Keep up the good work. On a side note, he says, I work for... he tells me how to pronounce it. He says it's pronounced like Pussy at and Cotter. So Pussy at and Cotter, which translates into kitten and cat, or roughly vagina and hangover, depending on who you're talking to, I guess. It's a local Amsterdam brewery, and one of the things that we do, he says, is reproduce beers from a brewery that was the largest in Netherlands from 1733 to 1949.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's a long run.
Some historical beers?
Yeah.
I like that.
Recently, we opened a bottle of pre-World War II extra stout in an attempt to see if there was anything still alive that we could repropagate and also to drink some. The results, if anything, is still viable, is yet to be seen. But surprisingly, the beer was still carbonated, had head retention, and tasted pretty damn good.
Wow.
Cheers from Todd. I would find the pretty damn good hard to believe, except that it's hard to believe it was carbonated and had head retention.
Right,
so maybe it was...
That's quite a capping operation there.
Yeah,
That's
right?
amazing.
If you like oxidized soy sauce, it was pretty good.
Right.
I mean, also send some over, Todd. What are you doing?
But maybe it wasn't oxidized if it still had carbonation,
Well,
right?
There's nothing can get out, nothing can get in either. So
Well, it was probably bottle conditioned.
It would have been in there.
It's probably bottle conditioned.
Yeah, maybe.
Which would have eaten it up, and then, pre-World War II.
That's hard to believe. They didn't know.
World War I.
It tasted all right.
I would have tried it. I'm curious.
I would have totally tried it.
I need a signed affidavit by some other a group of 10 people.
Yeah.
Have credit.
Next time, listen, guys, if you didn't do this already, next time you open a bottle like that, get out the video camera and the microphones. I want to hear that pop of the cap, and then see the head retention. Obviously, you can't tell us how, or we can't tell how it tastes.
We can see the look on your face.
Yeah, yeah. And we could have known, we could have proven 2 out of 3 things. Yeah. Also, that probably would have been a wildly popular beer YouTube video.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And better yet, send it to us and we'll do it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you got more around.
That would be rad.
Or fly us to Amsterdam.
Although, I love that the brewery name could mean one of 3 things.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go with vagina and hangover.
Incubator and shoelaces.
Yeah. All right, that's our feedback for you today. Hey, if you're looking for more information on branding, check out the brand... wait, which one did I do here? No. Yes. These people will help you do branding.
Yes.
Craft Brew Creative. You sweat and toil over creating exceptional beer. Well, Craft Brew Creative will assure that your branding reflects that outstanding craft. They take time to understand your vision through a straightforward and results-driven process. The result, something tangible that will make you proud of your brewery brand and feel confident in your market. They do logo design, branding strategy, websites, labels, and tap handles. Those are just a few things. So go check them out. Because of Craft Brew Creative's great relationship with the Brewing Network, they're going to offer 15% off your first design or branding project, which is good for up to $300 in savings. Go to craftbrewcreative.com for details and mention the Brewing Network for savings. By the way, the Hop Grenade uses Craft Brew Creative to do a bunch of our branding stuff. So if you like the Hop Grenade brand, this is a personal note too. These guys kick ass. His name's Ryan over there, and he's a good guy and does good work. Just did the branding for our Concord Oktoberfest too. So, good people over there. All right. Want to take a break?
Sure.
I think we're ready.
I mean, hell, why not? If you're going to offer me a break, dude, what am I going to do? Say
You're
no?
ready for it.
I want to keep talking?
All right, let's do that. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking to Ryan Holmes from Imperfect Produce. He's got a homebrew for us to try, Tasty.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love homebrew.
We're going to do that, and we're going to learn about Imperfect Produce and their beer project. Hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
First Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring Monk's Blood. Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Tuned into this session because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for sticking with us. The following segment is brought to you by the good folks at craftbeer.com, dedicated to telling the stories behind America's small and independent breweries. Meet the men and women behind America's beer renaissance. Visit craftbeer.com. I get used to this again. Every time I get used to it, I leave again.
Reading's hard, dude.
Reading is hard.
Right.
That's what I meant. It's not the on air. I have to get used to reading again. All right. We've got Imperfect Produce on the program with us right now. Ryan Holmes, welcome to the studio.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going good. I met Ryan at our Spring Brews Festival in April, right? Isn't that where I met you?
Yeah, that was right. I was here with my girlfriend and her parents and checking it out, and her dad was like, hey, you should meet this guy. He has a pretty cool radio station going on. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll talk to him. Maybe get him to know kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I had heard of Imperfect Produce before, but of course not the beer project that you're doing. But why don't we start with Imperfect and tell us what the program is?
Yeah, so Imperfect Produce, it's a venture-backed startup that the 2 guys who started it, I believe, are both from the East Coast, and they were working on a college, a program for getting food to college students, and then from there they graduated and they decided to make it an actual startup and an actual business. And so,
was the food they were getting to college students produce also? Because I have never seen a college student eat produce before.
I know, right? I mean,
of course, I didn't go to Berkeley, but. What was the food they were trying to get to students?
Not 100% sure,
okay.
But it's probably one of those food pantry things, like people donate what you can. I mean,
Nice.
it might have totally been, farm fresh produce. That's kind of their previous stuff.
Okay.
I didn't brush up on my history.
That's okay. I'm just curious. That's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, so from there they moved to California because they're like, California is nothing but farmland besides the few blotches of cities.
Yeah.
They got to know a guy, Ron, I believe, who knew a lot of the farms around here and like the owners and had pretty good connections. And from there, that's just kind of how they got started.
Okay.
So,
but the idea is to take. So, I guess my understanding is that a whole bunch of the produce that these farmers produce is rejected by grocery stores because it doesn't look pretty enough. Is that about right?
Yeah. So the surprising fact is, there's a few surprising facts. The first one is, that there's food that is too ugly for usually the main chain grocery stores. I don't want to go through naming them, but
sure, we know there. We go to those stores.
Exactly. Yeah. So those stores. Like one of the examples I know is they want bell peppers that can stand up. If it falls over, it's going to be falling over and out the door because they don't want it. But, stuff like that, there's certain size. Like if it's too big, no one wants to buy something that's too big. That's absurd.
I've heard that.
If it's too small, even though if you think about it, baby carrots are made from carrots, and then they just throw away the excess waste. So... so the idea is, there's a lot of food waste out there because things are too ugly. Eggplants with noses and arms. But the crazy thing to me is the fact that most of the stuff that we have is surplus.
Okay.
So I don't know the exact percentage, but pretty high.
So you're saying that it's not even the deformed stuff; it's just surplus stuff.
Yeah.
At Imperfect Produce.
Yeah.
They need a service like this for dating.
Surplus,
like surplus, imperfect. Like you got a skin tag in a weird place.
Oh my God.
There's an app for you. I could have used that in my post college, early 20s.
Imperfect Tinder.
Right. Yeah. Called
Also
Blunder.
called Tinder.
Blunder.
Yeah. I'm trying to wrap my head around the perfect produce thing, and it's easy to say, "Oh, well, that's so stupid that grocery stores wouldn't take, imperfect produce." But in thinking about it, I've been trained to look for that too. And if I was looking on the shelf and I had my choice between, an eggplant that was like a Siamese twin and a normal eggplant, I'm going to grab the normal eggplant.
Exactly. That's what everyone would do.
It's going to sit here until it's too old to sell.
Right. So I guess I'm just saying it's kind of simple to think to like demonize the grocery store chains, but we're all sort of part of this process where we just expect things to be perfect.
Yeah.
Until you put the name Imperfect Produce on it for me.
Yep.
And then I automatically don't care that it's a Siamese twin because I know in my intellectual mind that it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Right.
It's just that I'm not using that mind at the grocery store.
Yeah. And if anything, on top of that, we throw that name on there, and now you want those imperfect.
Right.
Because you're like, well, if there's weird curly carrots, I want those.
Yeah.
And so when people do get the normal surplus stuff, they're like, I don't want this. I want the carrot that looks weird, that has 4 fingers and a giant head,
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because, like I said, most of our stuff is actually surplus, which is still really important because you think about it. Like some people have like, oh, but that surplus stuff, like how is that really helping the farmer? And you got to think about it. Like the farmer's already put time in.
Yeah.
They've put water into it. They've put energy into it. They've already, paid for the everything to grow that. So the last thing is harvesting it.
Yeah.
So sure, they could save money on the gas that the tractor runs, but it's like you got to think about all the costs just to grow that one scraggly looking beet.
Why is there surplus at all?
It's
are they under contract for a certain amount and they sort of overgrow to make sure they meet it? Like, why is there a surplus? Do you know?
It's probably a mixture of that and the fact that they know stores aren't going to buy certain things.
Okay.
So, if you know 20% of your crop isn't going to get bought because of the potential of it being ugly or the potential of being ruined.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of like the whole idea of like you want to buy more paint for the room you're painting than buy less.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think a big idea of that is, plus they have all that land.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they do the whole rotation of crops and stuff. But it's like if you have that land, you might as well grow it.
Yeah.
Because hopefully someone's going to buy it. And luckily there's a place like us that will buy it along with other things. They have farmers markets. They have, I'm sure, personal friends who they just give produce to.
Right.
But, it's a really cool concept. And it's cool just being able to open that to everyone.
And now, how do you sell it? Because if you're not buying it from the farmers and putting it in a grocery store, where is it going?
So how we do it is just a directly shipped to you.
Okay.
So
like to my front door.
Mm-hmm. Well, your side door.
Okay. I would prefer that.
Yeah.
Our office.
We have office people, like people who buy it.
4 boxes in one time.
So yeah, you go online, you get like a customization window. It's kind of fun because you get like, hey, you have 2 days to order what you can.
Okay.
And it's kind of like the first there to get some stuff. Because, like carrots, we're always going to have carrots. We're always going to have onions. We're always going to have potatoes.
Okay.
But there was one time where we got like a weird specialty crop of young coconuts.
Oh.
And those things sold like hotcakes, I guess.
What do you do with
they
young
sold
coconut?
like a young coconut?
Well, you can't
Nothing.
mature it because it's already off now. So yeah, it's usually it's just it still has the milk in it. It still has the coconut water. The flesh is. I'm assuming the flesh is probably sweeter, or maybe not as sweet. One of those two.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it, so I'm not quite sure. But I know
there was demand for it. I mean, there's some reason to want it.
Exactly.
And
I don't want to burst everybody's bubble here, but yeah, that either.
Hey, Freudian, it's all good. Dude, don't worry about it.
I guarantee you that 50% of the people that rushed to buy that coconut didn't use the fucking coconut.
Oh no,
because of the question you just asked. They didn't know what to do with it either.
Right. Well, they probably didn't even know how to open it.
Yeah, but they were like, "Oh my god, it's coconut! I have to get it."
Mm-hmm. Dr. Oz told me that I could put this on my eyeballs. And, it's interesting because I had a similar concept for a business like this.
Yeah.
But it was called As Is Produce.
Okay.
And it just didn't really zing. It didn't really sit well with people because it's like, it's like brewed tomatoes and shit. And it's like, you bought it as is. What do you want? What do you want from me?
Yeah. Even the guarantee's not very good.
So
yeah,
I'm glad to see someone else taking it to the higher.
Yeah.
To the higher
Their
level.
name's sexier. It works better.
Right.
All right, so then when stuff like that comes up, people they jump on it. It sells out fast, but your staples are kind of always there.
Yeah, and the thing too is, from my limited knowledge of it, so I work in the warehouse, which is how I got to start my project, which we'll end up talking about. So there's a lot of things that I don't 100% know, but I do bug the people who do know, just because I like understanding.
Yeah.
But so they'll have say they had 1,000 orders, just an easy generic number. They have the week split in half. And then each day is its kind of own thing. So they'll have certain numbers reserved for those days. So it's not like everyone on Monday gets all 1,000 orders and the rest of the week is screwed.
Okay, I see.
And then, of course, we always like to somewhat overbuy just so that way, because when we get the product, we don't know if it's going to be bad.
Okay.
Because we've had issues where farms are like, oh, it's a dumping ground for the stuff that we don't want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
yeah.
We've gotten better. We've gotten better relationships. Found the farms we like, found the farms we don't like, but there's always still runs that risk. But yeah, so usually it's a first come, first serve. Like there's, you get an email, it's like, boom. I look at my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, we got the email, we got to start customizing now.
Right.
Otherwise, that specialty item is going to be gone in 20 minutes. I mean, it's not that drastic, but sometimes it is, like the coconuts.
Now, is it cheaper than the grocery store produce because it's imperfect, or is it more expensive because it's being delivered to my house?
So the cost of the actual produce is, when they say 30 to 50% less, they actually strive to really meet those goals.
Okay.
There's this huge thing that people were complaining that it wasn't, but then if you actually look down and break down each individual price, there it is, because they make sure. Plus, you also got to think of where the other people are buying their produce.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's comparing it to a local farmer who's selling on the side of the street, it's probably not going to be as expensive as the store. So who knows?
But if it's from Whole Foods, it's 2,000% cheaper from you guys.
Oh yeah. And if anything, it might even be better.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. There's been times where we've gotten the stuff fresh from the farm, still has the dirt on it.
Wow.
Which is kind of blew my mind, because that was early on, and I was like, you work for a company, you don't know all the answers. You're a little skeptic about things, like how fresh can it be?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, so we're waiting on this product. It's coming in right now. They're harvesting it. I looked at the guy. I was like, look, they're harvesting? He's like, yeah, no, they're out in the fields,
how cool is that?
Doing that and getting all of it. It was really cool. It was like, oh, this, romaine lettuce literally just came from the ground to me. And now I'm giving, so it's really cool stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the program, and of course, people can go to imperfectproduce.com and check it out if you're interested in doing it. Is it countrywide? Is it just in California?
So
right
we
now?
have actually been expanding like crazy.
Okay.
I started there just over a year ago, and it was just San Francisco. Since then, we've opened up L.A., which we'll be expanding from there.
Okay.
The third place was Portland, and then from there they got Seattle. And then we recently, a few months ago, I think it actually is almost 6 months ago now, opened up Chicago.
Okay.
And from Chicago, They got Milwaukee and Indianapolis.
Wow.
And then at the end, actually, I think at the end of this week, possibly, if not this month, they will be opening up San Antonio.
Okay.
And then from San Antonio, they will be expanding from there. But no, we're growing rapidly.
That's great.
Because there's a need.
Yeah.
Every place has food. Every place has food waste.
Yeah.
I think the number is like 33% of food gets wasted. I'm sure that's like all encompassing,
Sure.
But so we're definitely trying not like take over the world, but it's like we just really want to be, we want to be that voice of like, hey, there's a solution to this, and we want to be a solution along with encourage other people. We're not trying to monopolize. We're trying to encourage, like save those scraps. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it.
So you have a counterpart in every one of these cities? A warehouse person?
I don't.
Oh.
I am so.
Well, how do they? So they take product, process it, clean it up, whatever they got to do, pack it, ship it.
Yeah.
There's somebody that manages all that. There's a staff for that.
Yeah. So, and the weird thing too is my position here in San Francisco is unique. Also, my beer liaison position.
Side project.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, with the side project, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, no, my current position is semi-unique. I mean, there's other people who do it, but like I have like an official title. It's kind of cool.
Which is what?
The backstock lead.
Okay.
So I'm in charge of the people who make sure we keep the line going and that they don't run short of the stuff that we do have. And so
Got it.
I get to tell people what to do all day. It's great.
All right, so go to imperfectproduce.com and check it out if you want more information. And then you had this idea along the way, you being from the Bay Area here and all these great breweries around, that, and I assume you were a beer fan already.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Finding people, brewers making beer with fruit. Mm-hmm. And did you just start reaching out to people and seeing if they wanted to use your product?
Well, so it's how it originally started was. This is going to be mini shout out to Seven Stills.
Okay.
We had our Christmas party there, and Rylan was outside. He's the head brewer, and they were doing an experimental batch. And I ended up spending probably most of the entire Christmas party outside with them, just seeing what they were doing.
Okay.
Because I've always been interested in beer. Like, I used to think I was like a beer snob because I drank Sierra Nevada instead of Coors Light. But, this whole project has definitely humbled me. And I'm like, I don't know anything about beer.
Okay.
There's more to learn.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of hung out with them and started learning. And then from there, a couple months later, how it happened was we had this big order of mandarins.
Okay.
And they pretty much failed our quality check because, just because we take surplus stuff doesn't mean we have our own standards.
Sure.
We can't send overripe things because if it's too ripe, by the time the customer gets it, it's not going to be any good.
Okay.
So this certain batch of mandarins, I can't remember exactly what was wrong with it, but there was like 2,000 pounds.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, a lot of the stuff we do donate to food banks and stuff. So multiple food banks will come and pick up stuff. But there's still sometimes there's leftovers. And so I saw these leftover mandarins, and I was like, okay, I kind of have a connection at this brewery, and I can go right next door to Laughing Monk and, maybe see if they're interested.
Okay.
And so what I did is, I went over there with, a sample, handfuls of mandarins. I was like, hey, you guys interested in some mandarins to make a beer with?
Yeah.
So what Seven Stills did is they actually, for our next, we had, a party after that. I don't remember exactly what it was for. They ended up making a couple of pony kegs and throwing the mandarins in there and making a mandarin wheat out of it.
Nice.
And personalized for us. So no one else had it. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then Laughing Monk, what they did is they made a mandarin IPA.
Okay. So a whole batch they made.
Yeah. I want to say probably a 15-barrel batch.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Freewheel also did too.
Cool.
Who we're going to talk to today.
Yes.
So they did it with the mandarins too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the start of it. You just had this batch of mandarins.
Yep.
And have you done more since that?
Yeah. Since then, it's actually grown a lot more. So I had those 3 breweries, and I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be a one-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, there was some mangoes, and then by that point, we had the Oakland Brewery, Ale Industries had reached out to us. I think the day after I gave away the mandarins.
Okay.
They're like, hey, we like different things. We like, we like the idea of what you guys are doing. Have you ever worked with breweries? And I was like, well, fun fact,
We
I
just
literally
did.
just started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got them some mangoes, got some mangoes down to Freewheel.
Okay.
And then from there, I've also gotten a hold of Rare Barrel. Tommy and Jay over there have been great. I've been working with them on some stuff. Kind of briefly worked with Red Hook in Washington.
Yeah.
Because when we started Washington, they heard about us, and they were like, hey, send us a sample. I think I sent it like 5 pounds. I'm not exactly sure what they did with that. But they ended up doing a beer release with us, so they invited us to this beer release party. And we got to table there and just kind of got the word out there, too, because they just liked the idea of what we were doing.
Nice.
And then from there...
Has it always been surplus and donations thus far? Stuff that hasn't quite passed muster at Imperfect Produce?
That is the big part of what I try to do.
Yeah.
So I look for the stuff in the donation section that, it's otherwise could potentially go to waste.
Sure. Which is super helpful to brewers, too.
Exactly.
And if it's going to go to waste anyway...
You might as well drink
Put it in a beer.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah. But the one time I've worked with Drake's, and I guess last summer, they got some watermelons from us, and they did a watermelon sour, and they said it turned out so well they wanted to do it again, but they wanted 500 pounds. And I was like, the chances of having 500 pounds of watermelon in donation is very slim.
Right.
Because watermelons, it's good, and then it's not.
Okay.
It's not good for us, and it's just probably not sweet at all.
Okay.
So we ended up buying some from the farmers, but that's still buying surplus. Because, farmers, what they do is, they sell it to all the big places, and then what they have extra, that's kind of what they send us. So, Drake still helped buy 500 pounds of surplus watermelons. Which
at
is
a
awesome.
discount, so it's still helpful. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Should be out sometime soon.
Okay.
So
I'm sure we'll hear about it. We know everything Drake's around here. So.
Well, they're having their anniversary party on Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yes.
Is that right?
So I wouldn't be surprised if it's on there.
Okay.
If they made it some time ago, it'd probably be ready.
Yeah.
Nice. Love those people. All right, and then through this, you got yourself into homebrewing. I heard.
Yeah,
and I think we have a homebrew of yours in front of us.
We do, yeah.
How many batches have you done?
So we have done 4. Is it 4? Well, technically 5.
Okay.
Because we just started I don't know what to call it because it's not a cider because it doesn't have apples, but there was a bunch of plums. And I kind of looked at the plums. I was like, I could do something with that.
Okay. But
then I'd been, recently, I've been delving into research of brewing. So I was like, I'm just going to try a wild batch.
Okay.
Of plum
wine.
It's
a plum wine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little fruit wine, dude.
Nice.
So it's sitting there.
Okay. It's doing something.
It's doing something.
You can name it when it's done.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll call it 4.5 batches.
There we go.
Because if you just let it sit, then it's not really doing anything.
Yeah.
So if it's 4.5.
There you go.
What are we drinking?
Yeah, what do we have here?
So this, again, we are learning brewers. So this was supposed to be an American wheat, but because we can't control our temperature at fermentation, it started producing, the esters and whatnot. So it's kind of turned into a slightly more bitter Hefeweizen.
Okay. And this has Imperfect Produce in it?
This one does not.
Okay, this just has straight hef.
Yes.
Or American wheat.
Because we were going to add mandarins or oranges or something to it, or strawberries. Actually, no, we did add strawberries. We did. But we put it in the boil and all the flavor went away.
Okay.
So, learning,
Yeah.
So, yes, it does have imperfect strawberries.
Okay.
Can't taste them. But they're there. They're there in spirit.
What number batch is this for you? In your 4 or 5, this is what?
This would be number 4.
This is number 4.
Yes. So it's all from scratch, pretty much. The first batch, we bought a kit from FDR.
Okay.
Great guys down there. Well, great guy. I think he's like the only brewer in there, from my understanding.
Franklin D. Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Good guy.
He's still around.
He's a great guy.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't talk much. He just sits like this.
I've heard he's killing it, though. But, so we bought a batch from there, and then I was like, I know enough about brewing. I'm going to start creating my own recipes.
Nice.
And I've not learned enough. So I'm still learning. But, yeah, this is batch number 4.
You're doing pretty good here.
And wheat.
And you created a good recipe, too, actually. It makes a pretty damn decent Hefeweizen. And you're right because of the esters. How hot did it get in fermentation, do you know? Do you have even a temp on there?
I want to say the hottest I got was 77, which is still pretty up there.
Yeah, that's real hot.
Yeah, it's warm.
But I think it averaged about 74.
Okay.
Averaging that went up and down daily or weekly or?
I would say, the highest was 77, but like it probably hit 74, and then it probably would have been cooler, but with fermentation, you're releasing energy and everything, so it probably would have been 70, 69 maybe degrees. But
where did you store it?
In our closet.
Okay. So probably didn't fluctuate too much, right, Tasty?
If you could get a bigger bucket than the fermenter, you could put some water in that. That would help you buffer. If you could slide a couple frozen water bottles down the side occasionally, that would help you out a bit.
Yeah, this is the last thing I was just researching the other day.
As this show has said over and over again, temperature controls everything when you're making beer.
Yeah.
You never go into a brewery that doesn't have temperature.
Yeah.
But what you do have is sanitation control.
Yeah, the beer's nice and clean.
Especially at that temperature, you could have easily gotten into trouble with any kind of bacteria. But I don't think you did. I think it's a clean beer.
It's clean enough. It's very estery, but clean.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And it is not an American wheat, but it's a decent Hefeweizen. And I'm most impressed by its cleanliness. I don't taste the diacetyl.
Doesn't have much of a homebrew character.
It does not have much of...
It's a little undercarbonated, but that's...
Okay.
I get that in bars all the time.
What happened with that, I actually have an excuse for that. So the biggest problem we've ran into is when we pour the priming sugar, because we bottle condition, because we don't have kegs or anything like that. Well, we do now. But when we bottle condition, we pour the sugar in. This batch in particular, I forgot to stir it.
Oh, yeah.
So we've had some perfectly carbonated, some undercarbonated, but we have yet to have a bottle rocket.
Okay, well, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, my first batch was all bottle rockets, so you're doing all right.
There we go. That's cool, though. But
I've had worse commercial Hefeweizens. I'll tell you that right now.
There we go.
I've definitely worse commercial beers.
In general,
In general. Oh, you mean I paid $8 for this? Awesome. I'm going to go throw it up now.
I do wish I could taste strawberry. That would have been cool.
There is kind of like a tartness to it, which might be the acid definitely
made it through.
Yeah,
okay.
But there's no strawberry.
Yeah,
but I think strawberries are a lot like watermelon. We have to add a ton because they don't really have flavor. They're like sweetness and there's a little bit of flavor, but
right.
I think you have to go overboard on it to even get that flavor through, which is why so many people use extracts and purees.
Yeah.
For light fruits like this and blueberries and watermelon and stuff like that.
So we're going to talk more about that when we come back, because I'm curious. Because JP's right, I was surprised to hear about this, since most brewers now are using extracts and more so purees if they really care about the flavor and the product. But you're giving whole produce to brewers. So when we come back, I think we'll get Freewheel Brewing on the line with us, who's done a beer with you, and then we'll talk more about what format they're using these.
Man, I need to get out to Freewheel, man. English style beers. Mm-hmm. It's my wheelhouse.
It's your jam. It's your okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get Freewheel Brewing Company on the line with us, and we'll talk more about Imperfect Produce and beer. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, they're amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
This is Corey King from Side Project Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
You're welcome.
We're still talking to Imperfect Produce, and I believe we've got Freewheel Brewing on the line. We're going to speak to in just 1 second. Before we do that, don't forget about the American Homebrewers Association, a member-driven organization that wants to help you save money on beer and brewing supplies. In addition to providing brewing resources and hosting a one-of-a-kind event, the AHA offers money savings discounts at nearly 2,000 beery destinations around the country through their member deals program. Join the AHA at homebrewersassociation.org or click the AHA link on our homepage and make your beer money go further. All right, we've still got Ryan Holmes from Imperfect Produce in the studio.
Still here.
And we also should have Orion Lakota from Freewheel Brewing Company on the line. Orion, are you with us?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
It's going real well. Thanks for taking the time to be on the show with us.
Great. Thanks for having me.
I think we're getting your beer poured in our studio right now, but we've been.
Oh, excellent! Which one?
Did you say no? Oh, no, because you're not here. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't make it in person.
No, that's okay. That was my mistake. It's that we have another peach beer, too, don't we?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about yours, but we're going to drink somebody else's, if that's all right with you.
Well, I'm sure that one is also quite delicious.
We hope so.
I don't know. It doesn't look very promising.
All right. So, Orion, tell us how you got involved with Imperfect Produce and what you've done with them.
Well, I believe Ryan just, I believe maybe he came to the bar one day and introduced himself and kind of explained the program he was starting to build at Imperfect Produce. And I believe the first fruit we got from you guys was some tangerines, and we did a really nice citrusy tangerine IPA with that. I think Ryan gave us maybe about like 80 or 100 pounds.
Wow.
And it worked out really well. And so, yeah, we've just been working with him ever since. Every time they have something, to send our way, we'll try and do something with it.
I'm making fun a little bit. I love the program, but it would be interesting to see Ryan show up and just introduce himself and be like, so by the way, in the trunk of my car, I got 80 pounds of fruit that we rejected. Are you interested?
Do you want these rejects? Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much how it happened. Yeah, I think he actually did have it in front of the car. And I was like, well, all right. And they were perfectly great tangerines.
Right.
I don't even know what was wrong with them.
Well, and that's the coolest thing about the program. I guess half the time we don't know what's wrong with this food. So to get to use it
exactly. I guess too small or too large or something, but they were delicious.
Right.
Yeah, perfect for making beer.
So what I'm curious about is, we were talking just before our break here on the show that a lot of brewers are using purees now for their fruit. Because of the quality
right.
And the efficiency of that. But here Ryan is showing up with whole fruit. So what kinds of things are you guys doing and how are you using it in beer?
So usually we'll use the fruit towards the end of the boil.
Okay.
Depending on what it is, we'll either peel it or chop it. And then we'll just kind of like squeeze it to kind of break up the pulp a little bit and get it a little more juicy. And then add it, right at the end of the boil, so make sure everything is sterilized. So we don't want to boil it too much because we don't want to, boil away too much of the flavor.
Okay.
But I found, especially with the citrus, getting all of that like zest in there as well also really improved the flavor. And that's something you may not get as much if you're just using like orange juice or some kind of
Puree.
Puree.
So you'd take out the fruit, you'd crush the fruit, but then you also would zest the peels and put all that into the boil?
No, actually, well, we wouldn't zest the peels. We just put the peels right in with all the rest of the pulp from the oranges. Yeah, and with the peaches, we just kind of chopped them in half and removed the pits.
Got it.
Just because we didn't want that, going into the beer.
Okay. And now I hear what you're saying about you don't want it in the boil for too long. Have you found like a sweet spot? Is it just at the whirlpool or even a little before that?
A little bit before that. Generally, we'll put it in about 5 minutes before the end of the boil.
Okay.
And then the temperature will drop. So we'll let it get back up to a boil and let it boil for a couple minutes, and then just turn off the burner, add our whirlpool hops if we're doing that, and go from there.
Got it. So, yeah, I love that you just crush it and throw it in,
Yeah.
Have you used any...
It's pretty simple. I mean, it does processing 100 pounds of fruit can take a couple people a couple hours.
Yeah.
But it's not that much work. And actually, Ryan's come down to help out on Brew Day a couple times, which has been really fun, too.
What a sucker.
So, we'll get some of our bartenders involved, and we have a good time crushing the fruit. I don't know. It's fun.
Do you guys promote that it's Imperfect Produce, too, when you put the beer on the menu?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
For sure.
I was going to say,
we'll say that. We'll put it on our board at the tap room, and in any emails that go out to outside accounts about the beer, we'll promote it that way, put up some links on our social media.
Okay.
And people really love it. They're like, wow, that's such a great use for the fruit. And I think that's also something that you don't get with, the pre-made, the pulps and the stuff that you can,
Yeah, there's no story there.
That's really processed. Yeah, there's no story there. So this is a really great story, really great use for the fruit. And, it is a bit more labor, but the fruit is free. So, it makes it totally worth it.
Good starting point.
Yeah.
Free is a good number.
And then you can afford the labor. It's okay.
Well, the brewers I know that have used puree and fresh fruit, they love the fresh fruit so much better.
Really?
Totally different beer. Oh, yeah.
But now, don't you have to use a ton more of fresh fruit?
It's free. It's a ton.
Yeah.
2 tons.
No, I guess you're right. But has that been a limitation for you?
Also,
Go ahead, Orion.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, I prefer fruit beers that don't have a ton of the fruit flavor. I kind of just want to get some aroma or just a little bit of flavor.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to overwhelm the profile of the beer with the fruit. So in that case, we do about 260 gallons per batch, and depending on the fruit, but somewhere in the 80 to 100 pound range seems to work really well.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Give me the subtle fruit.
Yeah.
It's a beer first.
Yeah, you want to go looking for that flavor, not have your right in the face.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excuse me. Although I'm still surprised, Stacey, to hear you say that most brewers would rather use the fresh fruit.
Well, they get more consistency with the puree, and it's frozen. You can store it. The fruit's obviously got to be in season,
Yeah.
But, they notice it as much real fruit.
Right. I hope you got a lot of surplus fruit, man, because this show could get some brewers calling you.
I mean, why not? That'd be awesome. We got a bunch of locations. I mean,
right.
You got produce all over the world. There's probably more beer than produce out there at this point.
I think you had them at free.
That's what I'm saying. That's more what I'm thinking about. Also, it doesn't just have to be fruit, does it? I mean, there's all kinds of produce that could be used.
A lot of breweries doing cucumber, Berliner Weiss, stuff like that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Okra.
Sweet potatoes.
Okra goza. I just made
pumpkin beer.
Yeah.
Well, and then a lot of sours, they typically use herbs and different stuff like that. That's what I've noticed. Like with Rare Barrel and this other guy down in L.A., 101 Cider House, they're really interested in the herbs because they just impart such a different flavor that sours are almost a little more forgiving with than a beer, it seems like, at least. Like one of theirs had blue spirulina, which was awesome because it poured out like ocean blue, like the color of that bag over there.
Really?
It was awesome. It's like I've never seen a beer I mean, your beer color range is here. You know,
it is not there.
Some shade of red.
There, yeah.
What's the SRM value?
Right. It was awesome. And you know, spirulina is one of the most nutrient dense foods out there. I don't know if that transferred through fermentation, but
I'm sure it was very healthy.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I mean, I know there's a lot of brewers using Ligma.
I don't know what that is either.
What?
Ligma
balls. It's a good. Got you.
That was it?
Got you.
That was the whole thing?
It's like the popular internet joke right now.
That was so bad.
Yeah, but anybody's teenage son's going to laugh at that. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Hate you.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, continue.
What's that awful smelly fruit?
Bofa.
No. Yes, durian. Thank you. You ever get durian come through there?
I don't think I've ever even heard of that.
Durian is the king of fruits. It's like a big thing. It's like the big pod with spikes on it. And it can either taste like rose petals and tapioca or garlic and onion.
And foot.
Interesting.
Like bofa.
I think the most interesting thing we've gotten in there, which, maybe it's because I'm younger and I don't know what strawberry rhubarb pie is.
Right.
But we got rhubarb in there. I was like, why do we have these sticks?
Like, rhubarb's crazy, dude. Yeah.
And it's like, you look at this and you like almost expect celery, but it's like sweet.
Right.
And no, it was great. Which I actually ended up giving about 200 pounds of that to Ale Industries, and they're making, don't quote me on this, but I think it's strawberry rhubarb sour.
Nice.
But they're at least using strawberries for sour and maybe the rhubarb for something else. But they got some stuff coming along.
That's generally why you have strawberry rhubarb pies, because the strawberries will offset that weird tart sourness of the rhubarb.
Okay. JP's a rhubarb expert.
Rhubarb's crazy, dude. It's good. I like it.
It needs another name now, because like you said, it's just like a different generation. I feel like if we rebranded rhubarb, it would be everywhere.
You call it bofa.
Okay.
And there's also, I don't want to forget about the mango kolsch that you guys made, Orion, which was incredible because
that came out great as well.
Now we're talking.
That one we did a little bit differently. I thought that boiling the mango might kind of destroy too much of the flavor. And we actually ended up peeling all of that and putting the mango pulp into the fermenter. The kolsch. Always with that, there's a risk that you might get some, wild bacteria or yeast in there. But with peeling it, I feel like we probably got most of that off. And it was great.
Making.
Yeah, just a really subtle, nice mango flavor. Still definitely a kolsch. It was quite tasty and refreshing,
And if it's in the fermenter, does it also add fermentable sugar then? I guess it would in the boil, too. It doesn't matter. Either way, you're adding fermentable sugar.
Yeah, either way, you definitely get some fermentable sugar. I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it didn't add that much. I measured the gravity before we added the mango and then after, and it raised it about... we like 0.005.
Oh, okay. So really, you barely have to calculate for that.
When the original gravity is like 0.052, it's just a small amount addition.
I gotcha. Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
It was great. And, I'm not a huge kolsch fan at all.
Okay.
Just because it's a little too light for me.
Yeah.
And I started off with porters and stouts. Okay. So very drastic.
You're still working your way down.
Still working my way down.
You're still learning.
Yeah.
You'll get there. Trust me. Don't worry.
It was definitely a really, really good kolsch. And he made 2 different batches. He made a kolsch for the kolsch lovers, which had a hint of mango.
Okay.
And then he made a kolsch for just beer lovers. And it was just probably, I think you said 3 times the amount of mango, and it wasn't overpowering at all. But it definitely got more of a mango flavor, and it was really good.
Yeah. I think we put 1/3 of the mango into half the batch, and then 2/3 of the mango into the other batch.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
I guess one would have had twice as much in it. Yeah.
Sure. So all the non-beer nerds loved the mango one, right? They're like, "Oh, fruit beer, it's wonderful." But all your beer nerd customers like us were like, "Oh, that's a great kolsch with just a hint of mango. Perfect."
Just a hint. Yeah, just a little bit of fruitiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we like it. That's cool. I want to try some of these beers. Well, let's try the one we have here. What is this beer that we're going to try, Ryan?
So this is Sister Georgia from Laughing Monk, and it came from the same batch of peaches that I gave to Orion for his peach saison.
Okay.
But this one is I don't want to say hot off the line because obviously it's cold, but walked in there today right off the canning line, and so it's fresh.
Nice. It smells fresh. It smells like peaches. I haven't even smelled beer yet. I haven't tasted it yet, but I can really only smell peaches, which is nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do you smell?
I get a lot of hop aroma.
You do?
Yeah, I get a ton of hop aroma. There's a lot of peach flavor, which is good.
It's very, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, those who are watching there, but it's, it looks like a hazy beer. It looks like the Haze Craze beer. It's thick. I assume this comes from the pulp of fruit, though, unless they actually made a hazy IPA. And
I would imagine it's hazy,
hazy IPA with some fruit.
Yeah, because there's no solids in here.
Okay.
Get enough pectin out of that much fruit.
Yeah, but it does taste like a peach. And what I appreciate about fruit beers is when, like Orion was saying, is when there's kind of like a depth also.
Mm-hmm.
You can taste the beer, but like for this, you can taste the skin of the peach, that kind of tannin right there. And all of the other sweetness and the flavors that we know of as peach. And that's very, despite its obvious flaws that it's a hazy IPA, it tastes like a peach, and that's the best part of it.
Yeah. You're right. The tannins are there. Like the pit is there a little bit, and now I taste the beer part.
Even
too.
like the peach fuzz, you know, that kind of like it's all there.
Yeah,
that's great.
I bet they put a lot in this. A lot of peaches. Yeah.
Well,
do you know how much you brought them?
So I gave them 100 pounds of peaches. But I think they also added some puree, just to really get because whole peaches. I mean, obviously, so it's different than the puree. The puree is going to get way more of that, like, peach flavor. But like you guys have been saying, like, the whole peach will get you the whole peach flavor.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get the tannins. You just feel like you're actually drinking a peach beer.
Right.
So it's great. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good beer. I like how they doubled up.
Yeah.
They didn't trust you.
I guess not. I mean, that's Imperfect Produce. It's not perfect. So.
Yeah, as is purees. That's the new technology we're doing. Whatever. No, but that is a good way to get that wide range. Also,
yeah.
Maybe
a little puree, a little fruit,
bottling puree, Imperfect Produce stuff. And
there you go. Yeah,
as is.
Someone with marketing hit me up.
Yeah. I like this beer too. All right. Well, Orion, thanks so much for being on the program with us. I'm going to have to come and try some of these fruit beers from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on down. We've still got our peach saison. We've got a few kegs of that left. It's called Move Into the Country.
Oh, nice.
And
I have that song in my head.
We just use the fresh peaches, and you definitely get a lot of that peach aroma, but the peach flavor is very subtle.
Okay. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. Well, thanks so much for being on the program, and keep up the good work with.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see you soon out at the brewery. Thanks, Orion.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, and take care, Ryan. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you, man.
There you go. He's going to see you soon with another trunk full of fruit.
Show up randomly. No, that was actually funny. It was with the mangoes. Like we'd been texting about it, and I had some people, and like I said, brewers are, at least the head brewers, are the worst with their phone.
Yeah,
because obviously
they're busy.
They're busy.
Yeah, they'll drop it in the kettle if they pick that phone up.
Exactly, but like that's my experience. It was all the head brewers terrible with their phones. So I drove down there because we talked about it and hadn't really got a plan. I showed up. I was like, hey, I got 240 pounds of mangoes or something ridiculous.
Right.
No, it was I had my entire trunk of mangoes, and I was like, do you want any of these? And I don't know if it was him per se or if it was maybe someone else, but they're like, well, we'll take some of them. We'll take 10 cases. I think it might have actually been him. And so they took 10 cases out of probably the 30 cases I had.
Okay.
And then from there, I was like, well, I got 20 cases left. And I was like, I'm going to head over to Oakland, drop the rest off at Ale Industries. And they took all of them. And they made what did they make? They made a mango... I think it was a hazy IPA. I think it's called the Mango Pusher.
Okay.
It came out in cans.
That's too bad. That's a waste of mango. I love Morgan, but it's a waste of mango.
Right. So that's a great thing. Yeah, you can actually just load up the truck or the car, and whoever doesn't take them, if you just keep stopping at breweries that day, I guarantee you'll almost never go home with fruit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer because I want some of it to come home.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think this would work well in like the Bronx, where they're used to buying shit out of trunks of cars.
True.
Yo, man, I got these lugs. They're not quite lugs with an S, but yo, they look dope. Let's go. How many you want? Let's go. I got size 11 and 12.
You're right. And show up. All right, let's take us another break, and then we got some peach brandy to try. You had a distiller do this,
see,
too.
now we're talking, dude. Now we're talking.
That's a little bit outside of my realm, but...
Okay.
Well, I'll help you.
JP will guide us through. All right, but before we do that, the Hop Grenade here, where our Brewing Network World Headquarters lives, is in Concord, California, and the city of Concord is the perfect place to start expand your craft beer business. Concord is centrally located in the Bay Area. It boasts strong craft beer loving demographics. I can attest to that. And the city's historic downtown has experienced a boom with new businesses opening and a new apartment developments in the pipeline. So Concord's business and industrial parks are centrally located off major freeways. The city's economic development team. God, I'm terrible today.
Dude, I have the same problem with that copy. I don't know why.
The city's economic development team is ready to help you find a successful location to meet your business needs and help you through the permitting process. Give Brian Nunnally a call at 925-671-3018. That's 925-671-3018. He's ready to help you open up your business in Concord, 925-671-3018. And by the way, I can attest, Concord is a rad place to do business. The people are really cool here. God, even the cops are cool here. I've never been arrested in Concord.
Nice.
Knock on wood. All right. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to try some brandy. I can't remember what brandy tastes like. It's been a while. JP's going to walk us through it.
I'm doing it. Let's go.
Rhubarb and brandy.
Go.
JP's our old guy for this show.
I'm ready. I've got a sweater in the car. Let me go get it.
Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending Mash and Boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Hey, this is Julian Trego from Beechwood Brewing, and you are listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
All right, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And White Labs, don't forget about those. Want to learn more about the microbes responsible for making sour and farmhouse beers? If so, join White Labs at their Asheville facility for online through their webinar September 11th and 12th for their new Sour Beer Essentials Workshop. This 2-day workshop will explore the finer points of fermenting sour beer, intricacies of handling the yeast and bacteria, the history and traditions of these beers, and so much more. For more information, check them out at whitelabs.com/education. And you can join them in Asheville or do a webinar. whitelabs.com/education. Please do things like that so that you make better beer. You know what I mean?
Who are you talking to?
Everybody out there who knows who I'm talking to. You know who you are when you need to learn these things.
That's true. That's true. It's never a thing where, like, there is a saturation point where you're like, I think I'm making good beer. Mm-hmm. And then you need that one person to just be like, nah, son.
Yeah, you just need... I'm glad that you're feeling experimental and inventive and you want to use different microbes.
Yeah.
But you need to learn about it.
Yeah, my thing was comfortability level. Because it's like you get used to your house flavor.
Yeah.
Or you get used to how your beer tastes.
Right.
And that's how you think it should taste.
Right.
Until someone has to be like, let's work from your yeast and let's go backwards.
Let White Labs help you.
Right, exactly.
Let's do that. All right. So we have a distilled spirit in our glass in front of us now, which is a brandy.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not a commercially brewed.
It's not a Suganese brandy.
No, it's not. Well, we don't know. You haven't tasted it.
That's true. Where is this from?
So this is...
don't say his name.
This is my buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is my buddy who almost prefers to not to be known because... So I've given him 2 batches.
Yeah.
I gave him some Asian apple pears, which is what this one was.
Yeah.
And then I gave him some regular pears, which, again, I don't know anything about hard alcohol, let alone brandy or bourbon or anything like that. So gave him some pears to make some brandy with. And he's prides himself on his brandies, and he made the mistake of trying it in a new boil kettle. And he didn't like something was going on, so he transferred it to another one and ended up burning the pears a little bit.
Okay, that'll happen.
Yeah, and so he was, all mad at himself. But that's the different one. These are the apple Asian pears.
Okay.
And so
that's one fruit.
Yes.
Okay. An apple Asian pear.
Yeah, apple Asian pear.
This is basically a wine that's been distilled. Is that what?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. And
that's what a brandy is. Yeah.
It's about 40%. I think he said.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely got a
So I've never had
it to it.
Apple Asian pear, Asian apple pear. Apple bottom jeans.
Are you looking it up right now to see what it is?
Yeah.
I want to say it's an apple Asian pear. Or you can try that.
Which I have no idea what that tastes like. I do know I taste fruit in this, but I have no idea if I'm tasting that.
Asian hybrid apple pear.
It's about the size of a kiwi.
Okay.
So it's relatively small. I want to say it has the texture of a pear. I mean, I think I've had one of them before just because I was curious. It was a while ago. I want to say it still has the texture of a pear, even though it looks like an apple.
It literally, if you imagine a pear, like it's kind of like brown with the light brown spots on it, but in the form of an apple. It's literally like an apple pear, but it's also known by Asian pear, Chinese pear, Korean pear, Japanese pear, Taiwanese pear, and sand pear. For some reason, I don't know. But literally, it's Asian or all of the other Asian countries individually if you want. Whatever you feel like doing.
It tastes like pear.
Yeah.
Apparently, it has a high water content and a crisp, grainy texture. Commonly served raw or peeled, which this would make a decent wine, but I think you would have to use a lot of it, and then if you're going to distill it, probably distill it maybe a couple of times to really condense it down to get that essence if they are super watery.
Yeah, and that's what he was talking about. Is I think with this, it was like like 50 pounds or something like that, and he was saying terms of distilling that I had no idea. He was talking about cuts and different things. Like, you guys probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He was just talking to me, and I'm like, sure, And so he said by the time he got down to what he was satisfied with, he had about half a bottle.
Okay.
And so, he's like, next time give me like 300 pounds, and I can, definitely give you a good batch.
Right.
But,
did you know how strong the wine was that he ended up with?
I think it was about 40%.
No, this is 40%, but the wine itself that he distilled.
Not sure about that.
I'm curious about that. He may have needed more fruit to start out with more alcohol.
Yeah.
To get
definitely.
more alcohol.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those things are only this big too. So. Yeah.
Did you taste it, JP?
Yeah.
Do you taste pear in it?
Maybe a little bit. Like I don't like pears. Let me preface that.
Okay.
The meat and the texture and the flavor, it's not my thing. But this does taste kind of like a crunchy pear.
Yeah.
Like an underripe pear, so it basically doesn't taste like a pear. like the juicy kind of squishy pears have that pear flavor, that really intense kind of you know what you're eating.
Yeah.
I don't like that, and this tastes like the thing that I like about pears. You know what I mean? The crunchy part.
Yeah.
Not in your face pear. It's very subtle. And this, yeah.
Yeah, I think
like
it's
it.
there.
Yeah.
I really taste pear.
Yeah.
I do like pears. And I can
you're
really
weird.
taste
You probably
it.
like figs, too.
I do like figs.
Yeah.
Figs are fantastic.
You seem like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like figs and pears together.
Shit.
Together again.
You like pairing figs with pears?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys heard about figs? It's like a weird thing. I'm pretty sure it's figs that bees will go into them and lay their eggs.
Stop now. I don't want to know this.
Yeah, look it up. Whoever's out there,
What
look it up.
eggs? Bees don't have eggs.
They do something.
And
I'm
what
pretty sure
happens
larva.
then?
They go in there, they lay their whatever larva, larva into the
And it looks just like fig, and you'll never know until you eat it.
Well, then it's
I'm just
He just bought a jar of
bee
fig
caviar.
preserves. I'm never going to eat
Yeah,
it.
bee caviar. I guess it could be caviar.
You see, people eat
Wow.
fish eggs and chicken eggs, and all. I'm just gonna think of it like that.
They're popular in
It's a
Sudanese.
delicacy.
Yeah.
The Sudanese delicacy.
You can tell I'm seeing a shrink again because I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna think of it like people eat eggs. Eggs are fine. Everything's good.
I could also tell by your very nice, generous personality. But
right.
I'm trying to drill down a little bit more into this spirit, and no pun intended. It tastes like a distilled version of a light pear.
Okay.
So I guess
that's
I'm
good.
getting a little more. Yeah,
Mission
I think the essence
accomplished.
is there.
Boom.
I would love to eat one to compare the two.
Jesus. This show.
But I don't know. Yeah, it tastes good.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's really clean. It's a nice distillation. Tell that guy.
Yeah. The cuts are good, but I don't know if this is the right fruit to put all the work into, which it sounds like your friend is already kind of telling you.
Yeah.
He's like, this is a lot of work and the payoff. I mean, I can't taste the burnt or maybe a little bit caramelization, but not a whole lot. But it's very very light, and I could see very dangerous.
Well, so the burnt one was the actual pear.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, this one, I think for him, it was just the idea of something new. He's like, I've never heard of an Asian apple pear, so I'll give it a shot. And then he did it, and he's like, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I spent, 5 hours cutting these tiny little things, and I get half a bottle.
Never going to get that 5 hours back.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you drink the bottle all at once, he'll have one good night. So.
He'll have 5 hours worth of hangover.
We're having a good time here.
Yeah.
Tell him about it.
Oh, I will.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be stoked.
And then I don't think this affects the flavor of this one, but JP, doesn't a brandy usually have color to it? Like, would it have been in a barrel to add color, or are they clear like this?
They're clear.
Brandies are clear?
Yeah.
Why do I always remember them being like a yellow brandy or something?
Who knows? Yeah.
So I'm not completely an idiot. It happens, but often they're clear like this.
Yeah, they can be just like whiskeys. Whiskeys can be clear too.
Yeah.
Maybe they just come in a brown bottle because I thought the same thing.
It could be that.
No, I think you're both.
I'm kind of with you, Justin. My image of brandy is colored in the glass.
It's colored, right?
Brandy sniffer has got some sort of color liquid in it.
Yeah.
But okay, I didn't know that.
I mean, anything's. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't know much about brandy, but I think it's one of those spirits where it's still a brandy in this glass, and you can oak age it if you want to. It doesn't need to be aged in a barrel, where like a bourbon needs to be a new American oak to be called a bourbon, kind of a thing.
Cool.
Well, if I Google image brandy, virtually, there's a couple of brandies, and then everything is colored. Not every. There's a couple of exceptions.
Well, look, this is 2018. That's where we are societally. So you should really accept it more than
half of this. Okay. Half of this probably isn't even brandy anyway. But there's Brandy, the twin.
She's
no, she's not a twin.
No.
Anyhow, there's like two clear ones here. All right, well, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it happens all the time. Your curiosity.
That's true. All right. Hey, Great Fermentations. They've got the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web, and their staff is some of the best trained in the business using Blickman products. Check them out at greatfermentations.com. They offer top-notch customer service and same-day shipping on many items. Be sure to like them on Facebook. That's GR8 Fermentation, Instagram, and Twitter. Great Fermentations. Go to greatfermentations.com. They're good people over there. Also, if you're looking to make a beer, new home brewer, have you used the Beersmith brewing software yet, Ryan?
I started with that one.
You did?
And it was a little more confusing, mainly because I had no idea what I was doing at first.
Okay.
And so I looked at that, and then I talked to one of my buddies at Seven Stills, and he used Brewer's Friend.
Okay.
And it's just a little bit more simple for me.
Okay.
But I'm sure, I could see how Beersmith could definitely be a little more in depth. It seemed like
not just that, but I'm going to help you out here. Beersmith, you can go to beersmith.com and get your free 21-day trial. But Beersmith has all the tutorials in the world to use it. They've got videos for everything, podcasts for everything. Anything you don't know how to use, you just go watch it on YouTube, and they show you how to use it. You can get your free 21-day trial and check it out, as always. But now it's Beersmith 3, JP.
Hell yeah, dude. I saw that.
Yeah. With support for mead, wine, and cider recipes. Water profile tool built into the recipe builder so you can build and match water profiles. A mash pH estimation and adjustment built into the recipe builder. So you're right. It's a little complex, Ryan. It's got everything you need. New support for hop whirlpool editions, including time and temperature for each item. You like that, Tasty? Mm-hmm. Whirlpool edition calculation. Yep. Completely revised databases, including new hops, malts, fruits, juices, honey, and a style guide for mead, wine, and cider. Over 700,000 recipes in their database now. That's crazy. Yeah. Boil adjustments for high-altitude brewing. What will we think of next? And a streamlined interface that hides unneeded data when brewing. Go to beersmith.com. Get your free 21-day trial.
I think you might have just convinced me.
Yeah, check it out.
Software. Yeah, it tells you all about pH of the grain stuff. It's great.
Well, at least if I haven't, you get your money. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah,
so.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it is also great for people who are learning. If you want to figure out what direction to start learning about things next and how to really elevate your game, and you don't know a whole lot about the vocabulary, you got to look it up.
Beersmith.
Yeah. I want low-altitude brewing, first of all. If I want to brew a fucking 10 miles under the earth, what do I count for that, Brad?
Well, you don't need heat. You don't need heat source anymore.
That's true.
It'll just be there.
Me and the lizard people.
You need protective clothing.
All right, well, I'm still going to work on it.
Do we have a Twitter game results?
We do have Twitter game results.
Right.
Justin, thank you for asking me.
Yeah, don't forget the Twitter game is brought to you today by the Wine and Hop Shop. Go to wineandhop.com. What was our Twitter game?
Our Twitter game was very complex. It was, what's Warren been hiding? He's been missing a lot of work.
You mean Beardy?
Beardy, yeah, excuse me. Beardy, what's Beardy been hiding?
Yeah.
Excuse me, besides his genetically weak chin.
Okay.
TN Brewing says he actually shaved his beard, and now he's ashamed to show his face.
He should be.
Literally.
If he shaved his beard, he should absolutely be ashamed to show his face around here.
We were in the city on Saturday. Oh, fuck. I forgot how annoying it is to go out in the city with Warren.
When people just come up all the time.
He has a big, long beard, like literally down to his belly.
Yeah.
And it's just, hey, man, I have to tell you. I got to tell you, man, it's a sweet beard,
people
man.
love it. It makes people happy.
It does make people happy, but it irritates me because I'm like, I'm trying to go to the bar. Like,
right.
Why are we stopping? So you don't, he doesn't even want to talk to them. But
it irritates him. What irritates the most is Candy.
Right.
His wife hates it. Yeah.
It's
Candy hates when drunk girls braid it.
Oh.
It's so soft. What do you do with it? I wash it just like your hair.
All right.
So, anyway, that's my story for you. Scotty B says he will his will to live.
He's hiding his will to live.
Which he rediscovers each week. He gets to do something else besides contributing to the session.
I doubt that.
I know. I would have stopped at his will to live, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Jeff writes, after a strange missing time thing, Warren's been at home building devil's towers out of spent grains.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Okay.
If it's anything like Ligma, I don't want it.
What's Ligma?
Ligma ball. Gurgery Dean says being barrel aged.
He's hiding being barrel aged?
Yeah.
He's being barrel aged, so that's where he is.
Ryan Turner says he became a dentist, progressively drank more heavily, and then the wheels came off a bit. Oh, wait, who were we talking about?
I like that one.
Oh,
That's
too
pretty
soon.
good. That's it. That's what we got. Oh, wait, maybe we got one more. Nah, that's a stupid one. That's it.
What was the first one again?
First one was he actually shaved his beard, and now he's ashamed to show his face, literally.
Well,
that one's the most accurate, but the last
only
one's
one
funny.
scored on the laugh-o-meter.
Which is the Doc one. Say the Doc one again.
So it's not our fault. It was
the
laugh-o-meter.
Right.
He became a dentist, progressively drank more heavily, and then the wheels came off a bit. Oh, wait, who are we talking about?
That's our winner. Yeah, good job. All right, you'll get a prize from the Beeve, and it'll be great. You'll love it.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
It won't fit, but you'll love it.
All right, a couple more things to do here. Hey, Grog Tag is your one-stop homebrew customization shop. They have it all, from reusable beer and wine labels to durable metal signs to high-quality coasters, and everything's customizable. Go get creative over on grogtag.com with one of hundreds of templates, and we'll print on high-quality materials and ship it out to you. It's easy. Check out grogtag.com today and use coupon code BNARMY to get 10% off your next order.
And actually, they're sponsoring the Homebrew Label Awards are back. So you go to homebrewlabelawards.com if you have homebrew labels that you make. You want to upload your labels. We got they got sponsors like White Labs and BYO Magazine, and they're working on a few more.
Nice.
So check it out. I think right now they're at like $2,000 or $3,000 worth of prizes they're giving away. So homebrewlabelawards.com.
Didn't I win our internal homebrew label awards years ago when this came out?
Maybe.
I feel like it was
not this
me
thing,
or
but
Nate.
we
I
did.
can't remember. We did an internal one.
We did an internal one, and I think in classic Brewing Network fashion, we kind of stopped towards the end.
We were like, I think we get down to the top three or something.
Yeah,
we were like a few yards
to the
from the
almost
finish
finals.
line. Right.
And then we lost it.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
So really, we all won.
Yeah.
That's how I like it around here. I like it.
That's why I did that. It's because we all win.
Yeah. All right, last one. Who do you think it is?
It is Tasty's favorite. Actually, Tasty likes to read this one. I've been giving this to him to read.
What are you talking about? I don't read.
No, Tasty, shut up! You're ruining my.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're good. Okay, fine.
Yeah, Tasty, read this. You just give it to him.
No, I'm going to read it. Right. I miss it myself.
I miss it.
I miss it. Adam and Eve is determined to help you spice things up in the bedroom, and they're backing up that promise. Check it out. Go to adamandeve.com, and you're going to get 50% off. How come this is the only one I can read fucking perfectly? The entire show.
Because it's all in caps.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's what it is.
I screw them up the whole show, and then this one I'm like, come on, baby, this is easy. Use coupon code BNARMY at checkout. You're going to get 50% off almost any item, which is a good deal in and of itself, but backed by popular demand. And for a limited time, you'll also get the free Big O kit. Adam and Eve's Big O kit includes their exclusive Climax gel and a mini vibrator. So now you can get your... I hate that line. You get your girl off, too. I mean, now you've got a new way...
They were doing good, Phil.
I just don't like the copy sometimes. They said I'm allowed to make my own, which is why we fuck it around all the time. Anyway,
we should
you get
do
a mini vibrator.
Let's do skits for this one.
Just how does the skit go?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I would give you a script, and then we would just go back and forth.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You're going to write the scripts? You're going to include this and just give me my part?
Yeah.
I'm putting a lot of power in your hands, but I'll do it. I'll read whatever.
Hey, so is Adam and Eve. Okay? Let's be honest.
This is a good start. You're good at this already.
Thanks, man.
You'll also get the entire order sent to you for free. So take advantage of this limited time offer. A new adult toy, naughty movie, or almost anything else. When you choose that item at 50% off, you get free shipping plus the Big O kit with all the things I said and didn't say. And you won't find this deal anywhere else. I'm sure of it. Use offer code BNARMY. That's BNARMY at adamandeve.com. You guys must be using these coupon codes because they haven't canceled us yet.
Pay attention.
I love it.
I feel like if they ever
keep it up out there,
if they ever like subscribe to those services or websites that comb through your credit card, let's say, and figure out what subscriptions you have that you don't use or you want to cancel,
right? A bunch of these,
we would be gone. They're like, oh, the Brewing Network.
I'd like to think that we're teaching the world to brew and sex. Or something. Yeah.
Have brew and sex time.
I think I got through everything. Sorry they were all at the end there, folks. I messed up a little bit.
When are we going to have... We should have a sex show. I mean, why not?
What?
Yeah, sure.
You mean like one episode or like a show, like a podcast?
I mean, it's the same thing.
I'm not taking part in that.
Jamil has been asking me to let him do this show for years.
I am 100% not taking part in that.
He wanted to do a sex advice show.
Love Strong.
Love Strong.
Yeah.
Which on one hand, I always thought... Jamil surprises me. One hand, I always thought it'd be funny, but on the other, I'm with Bevo. Like, no. Yes, JP.
I feel like if you want to let him do that, you should talk to Liz first and make sure that his advice is actually... beneficial.
Sound.
But that's the thing about Jamil. He doesn't actually have to know what he's talking about to either know what he's talking about or sound like he knows what he's talking about.
Here's the thing. Take her down to Bofatown. Well, I will say on the JP and Sully mixtape show one time, we were responsible for bringing another child into the world. So
really,
if we're going to do a sex show...
A child was conceived during the program?
No, because of the program. So some dude called up and was like, hey, my ex-wife is coming over, and I think she wants to hook up, and I don't know if I should do that. Should I do that? And we said, fuck yeah. I mean, we said it in better terms. And they
well thought out advice in any case.
Yeah, right. They ended up getting back together, and they had a kid, and now they're married. They have a kid.
Oh, well, that's good. I didn't think it was going to go like that.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say his ex-wife, they got pregnant, had a kid.
Her boyfriend
still not together. Yeah.
Right. No, it ended up being a good story. So
okay.
You know, I just can't help this one, but if you guys are going to do a sex show, you have to call it hard, in parentheses, in, and then cider.
Right. That's just not bad.
Yeah,
hard and cider.
There you go.
Cider show, yeah.
Or him. I mean, whatever.
That's true. Yeah, hard inside him. Doesn't have the same ring to it, but it works.
So I have to sit in for every Brew Strong, and we do freaking Jamil's medical corner almost every episode where he just talks about weird shit that happens with his body. I don't want to know about his sex life or any of his sexual recommendations.
Right. So you're saying I have to find a different producer if I let him
a whole different set of people.
Yeah.
The microphones sound like these. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Whole different brand.
Yeah.
Today,
and I love that man. But
Jamil's medical corner. Tapeworms.
Oh, yeah.
Jamil is crazy.
He is crazy. All right. Thank you to Ryan Holmes from Imperfect Produce for being on the program with us today.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
It's been fun. Hopefully I've haven't embarrassed my company too much.
I'm sure you haven't. We probably did.
We have.
But thank you for being here, and I love the program. Hope to get to taste more beers from people with your Imperfect Produce in it, man. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to start sending them your guys' way, too.
Yeah.
You guys can critique it online.
Feel free. We'll taste some beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Next week on the program, we've got Armistice Brewing Company from Richmond, California. Is that Richmond's first brewery, Bevo? Yeah?
I believe so.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think Faction was looking in Richmond for a little while.
They weren't the first. There's several. They just had their one-year anniversary.
Oh.
There's several that have been there for...
There's a bunch there now?
Oh, yeah, you had to get over there.
I had no idea.
Check out the Richmond Brewers Guild or something.
Really?
Yeah, there's quite a few. They just had the first-year anniversary Armistice.
Did you make that up, the Richmond Brewers Guild?
No, I'm just... Whatever. Yeah. They probably got it.
It's something.
He's riffing.
They should have one.
It's something.
There's like 4 or 5 over there.
Huh.
Yeah.
The more you...
Benoit Casper, you ever heard of them? They're great.
Benoit Casper? I thought that was a dude or something that you can buy at Adam and Eve.
It's just a guy named Benoit, and a guy named Casper.
Oh, shit.
I don't know the first names.
Who's been doing your closing and your Twitter game if Beardy hasn't been showing up?
No, Beardy doesn't even do my closing because he talks too slow.
Oh, right. You do the closing. Nobody
does the closing.
But he does your Twitter game.
He does. He does sometimes.
Okay. So you've just been doing it all your... You've been a two-man show here, the JP and Tasty show?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did how many, 3 of those?
I think 3 of them, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, guys.
I wasn't here. It's fine.
Yeah.
You weren't here either?
No, I was
she
here.
was here.
Way above
Apparently,
my
I don't count.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really.
Right.
Well, they couldn't run it, but you don't count on the air. I'm not helping, am I?
No. You're doing great. That's what you're doing.
What do you play for? I think I've asked you this before, but what's your closing theme when you're hosting?
JP's an asshole.
Oh, good.
Still, yeah.
I like that.
It's a good song.
It's a great song, yeah.
And,
it'll last forever.
So basically, I'll play that, and I'll look at the calendar and see what other shows we've got coming on. And
okay.
What's wrong with that?
Just do a good old-fashioned close.
Yeah.
Okay.
A hard close. But a couple times Warren hasn't let me know that he's coming. He's not going to be here, so it's hard to, plan for it. And
right.
Yeah.
That's weird. They always let me know. Everyone lets me know.
Well, it was a weird thing. It was a one-time thing, I'm sure.
But, I'm fucking with you anyway. Yeah. He did let me know today, too, though. He texted me. He said, I already told JP.
That's right.
But he's on jury duty or something. He must be, I think it's the Manafort trial. I don't know if you've heard of it.
In Santa Cruz.
Yeah, he's in Santa Cruz.
Because the dummy didn't register to vote up here, and so now he has to go all the way to Santa Cruz all the time, and plan for a bunch of shit. It's like,
wow.
Dude, whatever. Way to go.
Also, over here, you're less likely to get called or to get chosen. I feel like in Santa Cruz, less population. When you actually show up for your jury duty, they need you.
Yeah.
Here, they just, they put 1 billion people on the list. You call, and they say, we don't need half of you.
Right. Apparently, he was juror number 3.
Okay.
Or something like that, and he goes, I'll tell you after the case.
Right.
Because Warren is very rule heavy. I'll tell you after the case, but I'm very surprised that they chose me based on the answers that I gave my questioning. I'm like,
wouldn't you also, as a legal professional, take one look at Beardy and just be like, fuck no?
That guy's on a fringe.
Yeah.
What a guy in the middle of the curve.
On a fringe.
Also, can you imagine being on a jury with Warren?
Oh, God, no. Because he's such a stickler.
About every, that is going to be the most, and I think this is a great thing, but that's going to be the most thought out,
yeah.
He's not going to be swayed one way or another by somebody else's opinion.
So yes, you make a great point. I would not want to be on a jury with him, but I would want him on my jury. Because he'd be like, excuse me, we were told that information is inadmissible.
Right.
And we were told to forget it, and I need you to forget it right now.
Give me that part of your brain.
Those are the kind of things he does. He's very...
I told him, I go, look, when it comes time to pick the jury 4 person, you should volunteer, because it's a cool... I liked being on the jury. I liked being a jury 4 person because, I don't know, it was just fun. I like to learn how shit works, and that part of the the judicial system kind of fascinates me, how you can get 12 idiots in a room and make them change their mind
and convict some poor fuck.
Right, exactly. You're going to prison, homie. But it was just a really cool concept, and I thought that he would really get a lot out of that. And then I thought about how everybody in that room would fucking hate him.
Yeah,
because we'd be like, dude, I didn't say that. Well, you actually did say.
But he might as well be the foreman anyway, because he's going to do that regardless. To the foreman.
Should we just take a vote? A vote? You're talking about a vote.
But just his appearance, wouldn't you instantly go no to that guy?
Right.
But maybe his answers reflected what I'm talking about and how you'd want him on the jury.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely.
I would want him on my jury for whatever crime I get caught doing.
Right. At the border.
Yeah,
those border crimes, dude. Watch out!
I'm on trial for flicking a cigarette into the empty dirt planter.
Well, man, and on that show, there's a lot of the search and seizures are because people make a wrong turn and they don't want to go into Canada. Let's say they're like in Washington State,
right? And
they don't want to go to Canada, but it's kind of confusing.
And they miss the 12 signs that say "Last Washington exit."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then so they go, "Oh, we're just trying to turn around." But they get waved into this, and then they get seized and they get fined and arrested. It's like, that can't be legal because they have pot. Well, you're trying to bring it into Canada. No,
I wasn't.
I really wasn't. How is this even legal?
Right. I couldn't reverse on the freeway once I saw the. Yeah.
It's so frustrating, man.
It is. That's why I mouthed off. I was frustrated.
Yeah, the signs just say last exit. If you're holding, exit here.
Right. Hey,
and then because of how I spent the rest of the afternoon frustrated that I couldn't mouth off more.
Yeah, because you didn't know.
Because I didn't know.
Right.
And once I didn't find anything, I was like, shit! I could have been such a dick.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right.
There'll be times for that.
Let's get out of here. Thanks again, Ryan, for coming in. Thanks to Orion from Freewheel Brewing Company. And we'll see you guys next time on the show. Appreciate it.
No, definitely. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, JP, take us out of here, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you to our sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Thanks to Imperfect Produce for coming in the studio and talking about, well, Imperfect Produce. Go to imperfectproduce.com and learn more about how to get great tasting produce for your beer or your gut. Merge your love of Disneyland with your lack of engaging podcast and go to earsuppodcast.com as JP, Terrence, Bevo, and Taryn talk about all things Disneyland. Get on Twitter for some good beer insight and homebrew info, and follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew, Mike McDowell at Tasty McD, Warren is stuck over at Another Beardy, and Jason, I wrote a foreword to a serious book written by a human lawyer, Petros, understands that Twitter is dead and you should follow him on Instagram at Major Jip, and Bevo is also on Instagram at Beverly Moore. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Ligma.
What's Ligma?
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy, and when